saying, okay, why is this tapping? Why does tapping work? You know, what is the mechanics of it? Well,
Right.
let's look at it logically and practically. When you remember a positive memory, the act of thinking, your mind creates the feelings in the body. It does the same with the bad stuff. All right, so mind, image, thought, idea triggers a kinesthetic, or we call it an autonomic response, a physical response beyond consciousness. It just happens just by the mere thought. And what we're doing is with the tapping is that we're actually, tapping is really a relaxation process. All it does is relaxes you. Also, it pulls you out of the memory. Now, remember, if you think about this, if logically understand this, when you remember what happened to you at 12 or 5 or 2, good or bad, you go into what we call an autonomic trance. It feels like it's real today. That's a trance. All right. When we use the tapping, and the reason why we use tapping, it actually pulls you out of the trance and it brings you right back to right here. You're here now. Peace. Now you're here real. Then once this, you relax yourself, you go back and visit the memory again, your brain will take this relaxation feeling and put it in the memory. Therefore, will diffuse whatever's in that memory. That means the brain is now going to update itself. And if you do it enough, you eventually, and you aim inside your mind, images, sounds, sensations, feelings, auditory, whatever it is. And as you aim and you do this, something as simple as that. Now, there's lots of ways of doing it. You don't have to use tapping. Tapping seems to be the fastest. And it'll totally update your memory where it doesn't bother you. This is logical, practical, tested. It works. Now, the most important thing about doing this is one thing. I intend to change and I'm aiming in here. How do you know? How do you know it's there? You feel it, you hear it, you smell it, you taste it. What is it? And when you're tapping, don't think about it. Get your mind off of it. Put yourself back here. Be here. Feel the carpet. Whatever it is, be here. Deep breath. Peace. Go to happy memory. Feel good. Then go back and check it. The memory will have been updated, changed, and adjusted. That's why tapping works. It's
Right.
we call it because we learn in fractions. You know, like when you drive, the fraction, turn the key, applying the brake, applying the clutch, knowing how to do all these are little fractions. But today you jump in your car and you drive. You don't even know how to do it. You just drive. You don't think about it. So that's a full operating autonomic response and experience. When you go into your bad funk, that's an autonomic trance. So we want to defractionate. That means pull you out, pull the fractions, break that memory down and flatten out the emotional experiences with it. All of a sudden, you know what happened, but you don't care. It's not real anymore. You've updated yourself.
Yeah, I felt that way. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm free of this thing since I was 11 years old. I'm free. It's so cool. And so, and I know you've talked about that sometimes. I don't know that I was concerned about that as much as some people are, because I was ready. It's just tell me what to do. I want to change myself. You know, they're concerned about changing their memories, but they're going to change, you know, they're changing themselves. But what I've noticed is the more of the good part of me, the essence of really who I am is what comes out. What do you have to say about that?
Well, that's another truth. I'm not the same person I started 20 years ago. I actually 22 years tapping on myself. That person 22 years ago was scared. That person couldn't even stand in front of a class and talk publicly. That person was stuck with 45 junk cars behind his trailer house, grease under his fingernails, calluses on his hand. I started using this. It changed my life for the better. Mm-hmm. So yes, you will change. You will no longer be afraid. You'll no longer be a doormat. You'll no longer depressing yourself. You'll be jumping out of planes. You'll be traveling. You'll be doing things you never thought possible. Mm-hmm. Because you built your life on pain, hurt, and trauma. I worked with a sister-in-law, you know, who was sexually abused by her stepfather. Mm-hmm. I said, let's go change that memory. She goes, who will I be if I change this? I said, why will you make a value on a bad experience? You know, as a Christian, why would you hold on to something horrible like that and give yourself value? Why don't you pick good stuff instead? And the reason is that this pain had a major impact. Mm-hmm. And we went and changed it. And all of a sudden, her value system went to the good things in her life. Now she's not only a better mother and a better carer for other people, her values shift and change. Now, if she didn't change that and the trauma and hurt, she will beat herself up. She'll put herself down. She'll allow people to walk on top of her, and she will still blame herself for something she didn't do.
Right.
So again, you have to, if you're going to have a fantasy, you're going to be the worst of the worst, or you want to be the best of the best. Both of them takes as much work. One of them feels better than the other.